Thank you. I'll make that happen. I'm sorry, yes,
Hi, Ms. Voss.
Okay. Any more from the directors? Public comment. This is the time and place for general public to address the program advisory committee. Take all prohibits the committee from acting on any issue not previously included on the agenda. Members of the committee may choose to take notes and respond briefly after public comment is closed. Items not on the agenda are addressed using a blue public comment request. Items on the agenda are addressed using a white public comment request. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker with a maximum of 20 minutes for all three agenda items. Speaker forms must be presented to the administrative assistant prior to the beginning of the meeting.
I wanted to share one thing that I forgot to mention in our director's report. And yesterday we implemented something that we'd like to use at each of our meetings in each of the areas of governance, and that is that we have a parking lot concept. And this meeting we don't need to put it up on the chart stand. And what it would be is that every time that we have input from the public, or even something that we bring up at the sidebar that we know we can't deal with today, that we would memorialize that on the parking lot, and we would say who brought it up, and then we would say at the end of the meeting, okay, what are all the things on our parking lot today, and who's going to deal with it, and what is the next step? We had a long list yesterday from our COC meeting, and it was very effectively at the end that we actually went back and identified who would do what next step. So I just wanted to share that with you, and it's been very beneficial, I think, for the audience to know that at each of our meetings, that's how we handle whatever they're coming up. Because we do want to show that we're hearing what's being stated by the public, and we do want to address whatever question or concern that they have. So I just wanted to share with you. I think I sent out an email to you that would be the process. And so,
C1 is early start Part C regulations talking points.
and you have in your packet some information that when you read it, you probably said, why does this all say San Diego? And that's because coming from San Diego, I brought to you what had been shared with us in the late spring. We're in the midst of transition here with the changes from Part B to Part C to Part D. So what you need to know is, since I arrived, we also had an IESA meeting, which is all the shopper directors in San Bernardino County, and Inland Regional Center attended and actually confirmed exactly what's here, that we don't know how it's all going to roll out. They're not implementing any specific changes until they have further clarification from OSEC in Washington, D.C. The biggest question right now is parents would have the ability to opt out. The regional center then, if a parent opted out, would not be informing us that that child would be coming into the public school system potentially at 3 years of age. The other question is what constitutes a referral, because if they send us a list at 2-3, you know how much a child changes from 2 years, 3 months to 3 years. Are we obligated to then start the assessment process at 2-3? Or is that strictly advising us that these children are coming and we can do it at 2-9 or 2-6 or whatever we can do? So more word will be coming, but just wanted you to know that that's where everybody is right
now. 11-12 compliance complaint summary.
Yes. We have 2 things here. We have the chart that you have that are quite quick. And then we also have the due process results on the next page. I thought it would be helpful to you to see a 2-year comparison and to see a chart rather than just a number. I know that's helpful to me, so I hope it's helpful to you. So if you look at 2010-11 versus 2011-12, you'll see that we had 17 complaints filed in 10-11 and 15 in the most recent year. So far, we have not received reports on 5 of them, so that's why the numbers don't jive, because there are 5 that we still haven't heard back on. 2 have been withdrawn. Last year, 4 were withdrawn. The number of districts changed by 1. In the previous year, it was 5, and last year, it was 6. Overall, 6 of them, it was found that the district was entirely compliant compared to 1 the previous year. Overall finding, the district had areas of non-compliance in the complaint. Of the 10 that we have received, 3 had areas that needed to be addressed where the district was out of compliance on maybe 1 or whatever areas. The number of issues has increased from 33 to 40. And then if you look at the overview of the actual findings, the number that were in compliance, so of the 40 issues, this year 16 were in compliance. The ones that were out of compliance were 4, and the number of issues withdrawn are 8. So that would leave 12 issues. We have 5, remember, that we haven't heard back from. And then, but the issues were, of the 4 issues that were out of compliance, 3 of them had to do with timelines, and 1 had to do with the response to the request from them. Okay. Then if you go, any questions? You go to the next page, the summary of due process mediation and due process filings. We had 38 due process filings in 11-12, which is 4 less than we had in 10-11. And then how they break down, the district filed in 5 of the cases, the parents filed in 33. And here's what happened. 4 of the cases remain open at this point. 10 have been withdrawn or dismissed. 7 were resolved in resolution. 13 in mediation. Post-mediation, but prior to hearing, 3 of them. And then OAH hearings, 2, but 1 was for a case filed in 10-11, but it was dealt with in 11-12. Then there was 1 7-day hearing and 1 15-day hearing. The cases that were heard in District Court of Appeals, 1, and then open cases in Appeal, 3, but 1 of them was filed in 10-11 and 1 in 07. So that's how it breaks. Okay.
Next is 12-13 education and mental health funding allocation.
Yes, it is here. We just did a chart to show you in the different funding sources what we would be receiving in 12-13, the state entitlement federal grant, the other federal grant, and total mental health in 11-12 was $5,635,880. This, for 12-13, you have to understand is based on our ADA, because what the Coalition for Adequate Funding had when they gave us this data in July was based on our ADA at that point. It was 117,000. You know, it's dropped by about 2,000 students, so it will not be exactly what you see here, but if ADA had remained the same, it would be $7,729,098. And then in 13-14, if ADA were to remain the same, it would be $8,199,000. What happened that's changing 12-13 and 13-14? Remember the case mix data issue in December 1 of 2010, when the CDE had 45 minutes to get data to the legislative analyst office. Well, the data, we didn't know that was the data that was going to be used. Remember when you used to have to mark if a student qualified for 83632 services and if they were receiving them? Well, the funding then was based on the data they ran, which was unfortunate for some and very fortunate for others. But now to move to total ADA for the distribution, for the people that were rewarded for good data, basically, some are losing millions of dollars. So they requested that we kind of have a step down. So that's why we stand to go up. And if they were to do it all by ADA in 12-13, we would be receiving the $8 million. But instead they are having a phase-in. And so we'll get the $7,700,000 this year and then the $8 million next year. I've been talking to clinical counselors, we were talking about some ideas to propose to the districts for how we should spend the additional allocation. We do have a need for a facility, and I will be meeting with one of the districts within the next week or so to discuss that and bring that back to you. We also have talked about the need for some training. We would like to have some discussion with the districts to see what you would all think of possibly embarking on a PBIS type of a project. I don't know enough to know if you're already doing that. Also, we perceive a need for some clerical support as the department is growing so rapidly. And then eventually, I think with 16 people in the department, there is a need for somebody at least part-time to be the lead or to have somebody in the supervisory role. So I would welcome a work group to talk about all of that. I just wanted to give you an idea of kind of what I'm thinking.
Well, last year, we had a work group, and we made some decisions, and the district was supposed to receive funds.
Okay.
We had a distribution sheet, April or May, Peggy? I don't know if we ever figured out what the month was. And it appears to me you may have clumped that money back in. We've already discussed all the issues that were brought up, so we may want to look at the notes of what's already been done.
Okay.
And I know that I've already have subcommittees in my district for the money that we were supposed to be allocated.
Okay.
So that's something that we may want to look at what was already decided before we, and certainly we have new directors and maybe they may want to revisit, but I know those who have been here already know what was supposed to be coming, and I know a couple of directors that were here last year. I've spoken to a couple of them, and they've already been planning. Okay. So I don't know that we want to pull back 100%. We may want to review what's been done to make sure that what path we want to go down.
Absolutely. And I'll tag on to that, if I may. OMSD, we do have our own clinic, and we're, so this is how we're using the OMSD apportionment.
And you need to do this, right? You are providing all of your own services, the other districts.
No, we occasionally will make a referral to WESELPA, and we're just gearing up to with the mental health funds to serve our own kids. But that's the intent, that 98% of them will be served through our district clinics because we have the capacity to do that. But so I think our understanding was that the only cost that the SELPA would have to run the counseling program would be kind of taken care of through the fee-for-service, and that you'd have to adjust, but that the districts using it would be basically splitting the cost as they refer to it. So.
And again, I appreciate your input because I need to now go back and research. If any of you have documents readily available, we can pass them on.
Well, Darian, I looked it up because I was getting ready to spend my measly amount of money. But I looked it up yesterday because I was talking to Janet Crabtree. Janet, I have the figures that were given to me in May, which were in the May 23rd packet. And am I still right? Can I still spend that amount of money? And so she was like, hey, I don't know if it's going to be adjusted or not, but it stood out too. So there's one, it came straight out of the pack book. So you can see I have a little to spend.
So we're looking at,
you have a lot to spend.
we're looking at $250,000 additional if it turns out because eligibility to ADA. So that's eligibility. Because we're looking at $7,729,000 versus $7,483,000. So that's what I was talking about, is the additional money or what we will have to decide how they're going to be allocated. And
That may have been decided though, the districts wanting more.
okay.
Because we did add a lot last year for WESELPA counseling. We've added staff. I can't honestly remember how things worked out with the clerical. We had a long discussion about that.
And I don't remember the intent being that if there was additional money that it would be allocated any differently than what the group
Was
had decided to do.
I was on the subcommittee. I can look through it and see. I thought you were there with me.
With the working group
Dee Dee may have been on that. So, yeah, so,
And I'll search back to see if there were any other.
right.
Illness to other support staff.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, I do recall that. So that's already been done,
This is we're on a cruise.
Right, that makes sense.
And Karen, wasn't that already budgeted for, and so this money would still be this money, right?
Right.
That was already
Right.
taken to the superintendent's
Right.
account, just on free. Okay.
We may want to revisit this at the next staff meeting.
Right, or do we want to reconvene the work group and have a meeting between?
I think we're seeing a different trend in some of the referrals that we're getting than we had anticipated, and which would kind of lead us to talk about maybe services and how we can meet those needs. Because the trend that we anticipated is quite different than we had. So, given that, it really kind of changes the focus of the clinical counselors and how they, what they're looking at and how they provide services. So we thought maybe this would be a good way to address it.
And specifically, Jan, the change in trend that you're seeing versus what you anticipated?
Well, there are some referrals that are more appropriate for group work rather than individual, and I think that's probably the biggest change right there. The types of we're getting a lot of more referrals more for externalizing behaviors rather for internalizing behaviors. So ADHD, which therapy wouldn't necessarily lend itself to fix those issues. So there are definitely some underlying stuff that we need, I think, as a group to talk about. What do we do? Which kind of, they were looking at the referral form thinking, well, maybe we need to revamp it so we can get a better idea of those, students coming in or those referrals coming in. Really, what are we looking at? Are we looking at, could the student be serviced via group, social skills group, or those kinds of things, or ADHD. ADHD really, really we're looking at possibly a behavior support plan, and so there's a lot of different ones.
So Jan, when you say the social skills group, are you talking about maybe that could be delivered in the classroom versus a counselor teaching social skills?
That would be part of it.
Okay.
That would be part of it. I don't know how, though. I think that's some things that we need to talk about.
We had those conversations last year, and they had things that they were going to provide this year based on all the added staff. I would like to see what is currently happening. I hate to redo something that we've spent a lot of time already doing. I understand that change may need to occur based on what we're seeing right now, but those conversations we already have.
So then if they're receiving referrals for services that you didn't anticipate would be under the umbrella of what they would provide, we need to look at referrals.
We talked about the social groups last year. And I know Dave was on the committee, and I think Lisa was also there.
She was,
Yeah.
but they both came to my meeting and presented.
Okay, yeah, and they came to PAC afterwards and presented also. I don't know if it was April or May.
And we did spend a significant time looking at that social skills, finding a really good curriculum. So that is slowly evolving.
And what did you guys come up with as far as that curriculum? Do you remember the name of it? Was it skills training? Or was it something?
Is it the book you have to read it by Joe Baker?
It's Joe Baker. Social skills and
It's okay.
it is by Joe Baker. And it covers a wide spectrum of students, not only kids that have emotional issues, but kids that are on the spectrum would benefit from it as well.
True.
Have your speech therapists been trained in child restoration for the Arrow programs too? So then sometimes there's a crossover with speech therapists could be providing too.
But I think that social skills piece, just for me being out in some of the districts, is so huge that to to me seems maybe sometimes the perfect person wouldn't be the speech person because it's too big for them. And it's more than just a speech game, you know, so. So I think those are some of the things that we probably, we would like guidance and information.
I think from what I'm hearing is that, you know, I've not sat with all the clinical counselors because I understand we've increased from this number up to this number, and I'm not sure any of us have met with all of them as a group, so I don't know where their directive comes from as what they think they're supposed to be doing. I don't know.
And I met the leadership team the other day, and we talked about a mentoring process for them too, and so that they're all on the same page. And I'm meeting with all of them this afternoon, so we'll have more information after this afternoon. But it sounds to me it would be a good thing to reconvene the work group, just so we can make sure the counselors, the directors, everybody are seeing things from the same perspective. Is there an interest in doing that?
I would just ask that because OMSD and then Chino is also opening their own clinic, and we have a little different impact. I would just ask that when the work group about the WESELPA counseling, if it does meet, that if there's any changes, suggested changes in the funding allocations, that they be brought to the larger group because they will definitely impact what we would like to have.
And just to clarify, I was just saying that was a proposal from that group, and they would get at what committee to run the operations, and specifically dealing with the new one.
So the way it stands now, just to summarize, we're going to follow the recommendation from last year, and the districts will continue to get the money.
Exactly.
However, we need to define what is going to happen to about that $250,000
Exactly. And we need to verify that it's going to be that much because
Sure.
we've had declining ADA.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So are we going to reconvene the same committee that was previous? We may have directors on the one committee.
Well, I need to take my guidance from you because I wasn't here on that one.
Gene, I don't even remember because I sit on a lot of committees, but I'd like the name added to that.
Diana, it may be helpful to have you on the committee. I know you're really busy, but with the unique knowledge you have in having your own facility.
After you.
So be Diane and Peggy and you.
And I know Dave and Lisa were both there.
I'd like to be, I think I was on it before.
I think you were too. I think Dee was. Dee was, Jen?
Oh, and Jan.
Okay, I think we're ready for our next agenda item. Any more discussion? 1213, educationally related mental health services, referral form update.
Well, really, this is just, actually, it should have draft on it. This is just a draft of what the counseling team, we reviewed several different referral forms that are out there right now. This is what the current leadership of the counseling clinical counselors came up with. It is a draft. I think that if we do reconvene the work group, I think this is definitely something that they can look at, and we'll have different ones to compare. But this appears to be what's the norm out there. Right now, currently, we have one page. It does not offer a lot of information, and so we need a little bit more information. So this was reviewed. This is, again, is only a draft, and I think that work group can review some of the other ones. It does have a checklist to have a little bit more of a comprehensive procedure.
So So Jen, for right now, we're just going to use the one we got last year until this one's taken up. right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Communication? Were we done with that, Jan? I'm sorry.
Yes,
I had mine down. I was
thank
looking
you.
at your.
No.
12-13, WESELPA staff development trainings.
I believe you've all received the booklet that has the in-depth description, but I had asked that we also do something that I found to be very helpful in my previous supplement, and that is just kind of an at-a-glance staff development calendar where you can just go through and see the dates, the times, what the training title is, if there's a fee, and the presenter, and then also the information at the top about how people can register.
I was looking at this and there's one thing missing, and it's because I'm just working on it, so we add on. It's starting on October 2nd, and we're doing a 4-day, series, alternative dispute resolution, for IDP facilitators, that could be anybody. So we'll have a flyer out. We're partnering and working with Riverside County, WESELPA as well. So we have a grant and have some training information, so they'll be doing some of the days. Our team has been doing ADR training for years, since 2002.
Well, not us specifically. Amy and I did that round of it in 2008. There had been, I think, Amy and Jerry Ryan did some training in 2007. And then we had that, I think who was here at the time?
An outside person.
Yeah, came in around 2003. I'm the
Anyways.
only one who's here.
Anyway, so we're continuing that. It's going to be a 4-day series. We'll send out the flyer on that, but that's missing on here. It's really exciting. And again, it's a partnership. As part of that as well, there will be a parent component that we're developing, so that'll be set up kind of a couple-hour parent component so that we can get some of the highlights of what ADR is. So look forward to that.
When you say 4, is it 4 full days
4 full days.
in a row?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're spread out throughout the year, because we find that to be better training. Go over something, especially this is kind of a paradigm shift from that when win. Come, listen, practice, go home, work it, come back, get some more, go back, work it, come back, get some more, and in the end, hopefully, all the concepts pull together for people. So that's our concept at this time, and again, training seems to be one of the best ways to do that kind of shit.
You know, the abbreviation is.
They're all over the place.
I understand.
And will they all be in West End?
Yes, they'll all be over here at the West End.
So perhaps some presenters from Riverside that doesn't come to West End.
Yes, presenters from Riverside, we're bringing in a couple of presenters, so that we have some outside and inside experts, which we actually got some awesome things that sound like that's going to happen with it. So if you have some people who you think are interested or who you think need massaged in that way to learn some of those skills because they're out there facilitating meetings, not just IEP meetings, but meetings. Look for it.
Do you know the approximate cost? And I'm just really taking you all these questions.
No, I don't at this point, because we, again, I haven't sat down with that. Probably 40, 50 bucks at the most, I would think.
For the whole series or per day?
Probably the whole series. There's, our guests charging us.
Oh, fantastic.
Like once a month or
Partnership.
once a week?
It's 4 times. Just 4
Yeah, no,
times a year. So it'll be
it's 4 times a year.
2 in the fall, kind of,
And 2 in the spring.
2 in the spring.
So, October,
November.
November, and January.
January, February,
Yeah.
are the dates.
I think the last one's February 22nd.
6.
Yes.
26th.
They're 26.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry, it was on here, it was a typo we saw before. It's actually in your calendar.
May I just ask, I know in San Diego, across the country, many training had to be canceled last
I believe we will, and I just want to comment that I think the offerings it's wonderful, incredible, it's just so targeted, it's like, wow, every time I turn the page, like, wow, look what they're offering. And so, I know we're gonna be sending folks to lots of stuff, so I just appreciate, I know it was a lot of hard work, Amy, your team, I know.
They're an awesome team.
Yeah, so.
We try. It's harder and harder every year. It's, as we've discussed a million times, when we have to get a sub on top of paying for a conference or a training, it's almost impossible. But our site administrators are very pleased with the trainings here and are able to fund some of it.
That's good to know.
This year.
Maybe after
After November, yes, maybe, everything will change. Okay, so we are adjourned at, is that 8:55?
Wow.
May I ask a question, though? Who's the facilitator for the next meeting? Do we probably do?
It may be Doug, because Doug and I swapped. Oh, is it further down?
It's not.